Our 2025 Mazda CX-90 preferred trim has 280 horsepower and 332 foot-pounds of torque. For space, look at all this space back here. Tons and tons of space. I'm gonna punch it on here and see what this feels like. Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, there's love, there's hate, lies and games, faith.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to step away from these two vehicles and we're going to focus on our 2025 Mazda CX-90, and we're going to go compare it to a Honda Passport, and we're going to try to figure out which one is the right vehicle for you. Now, I guess we should be comparing it to the Pilot because that's another third row SUV, so I might do that as well, I'm not sure, but I think this is more a question of trying to figure out, do you need a third row SUV or do you need two rows? And I may also do that same comparison with our 2025 Mazda CX-90 and our 2026 Honda CR-V to go deeper into depth in helping you guys figure out, do you really need a third row SUV or can you make it work with a two row SUV? So without further ado, let's head out. Let's see how this goes. All right, so it's a very windy day today, so hopefully you guys can hear me okay. But yeah, we made it over to Southeastern Honda. You guys need a Honda, come out to Southeastern Honda, tell them Race Car Friends sent you. But yeah, so this is the Passport, right? And I wanted to get something very similar to our, I think ours is considered the preferred trim of the Mazda CX-90. This is the Passport RTL, so it should be a apples to apples minus the third row. So yeah, so let's open this bad boy up. Now, one good thing I see about this, that let me see if it works. It looks like this has automatic start. Let's see. Yep. Roars to life. So our CX-90 also has automatic start, but it's not on the key fob. On ours, you have to go into the menu, and it's like a whole bunch of stuff. I love how with Honda, it's simple, it's on the key fob, very easy to use and everything. And then you get in there, and just like our CX-90, this also has leather seats. Now let's push this all the way back, push it down. And the first thing I'm noticing is that scent that you get from these new Hondas. Like, it has a distinct scent, man. Like, it's pretty awesome. Let's turn this down. Let me see. Is this infotainment? Huh. Okay. Infotainment. Okay, something's wrong with this. Okay, something was not wrong with it. So it's because we did the automatic start. The screen does not turn on until you hit the start stop button. So that was my bad. And one of the cool things that I like about this is that I believe this is a 26 Passport. It comes with Google Maps built in. So that is pretty awesome. So that works just like the maps on your phone if you're an Android person. But yeah, let me go park this and let's do the side-by-side comparison. So we finally got both vehicles next to each other over here at Southeastern Honda in Palm Bay, Florida. So if you guys want to get like a new Honda, you want to get a Honda Passport, a Honda Pilot, a Honda CR-V, a Honda Type R, a Honda Civic, they got them all out here, man. They got inventory for days. So come through and tell them Race Car Friends sent you. Now let's get on to this comparison, right? So for me, I have a family of 5. We have my wife and my 3 children, and obviously myself. So we went with a third row SUV, and I'm gonna show you what our seating arrangement is normally like. So our seating arrangement, it's normally either me or my wife driving in the front or one of us on the passenger side. And then we would typically have one baby seat over there, and we'll keep these 2 spaces open, and then 2 spaces in the back for car seats, right? That's what we have, like my other kids, their car seats are often in the back there. Now, how I would do it in the Passport, would be, let's see, same thing. One of us in the front here, one of us over there. Man, this looks so much roomier, right? And then, let me open up the rear. With the 2-row SUV, I would just have 3 car seats running right here. And this is definitely wide enough for 3 car seats. And you have the middle strap there, so you can put in the middle car seat. And the bonus of having it this way is that you have a ton of room in the back here for space. Look at all this space back here. Tons and tons of space. And they got this cargo net in the back here, so you can't really see. Let me see how this works. Okay, so yeah, take that out. I'm gonna take this out just to show you guys. Look at the amount of cargo space in the back here. And then, let's pick all this up. And they got cargo nets, cargo space. They got a little bit of everything. They showing off the dimensions to this bad boy. Let me unplug this cargo net here. Let's see what we got underneath. Bam! We got a spare tire. And they got like the trails on the back there. So tons of storage, spare tire. I mean, I love what you get in this Honda Passport. Now, just to show you the difference, with the 3rd row SUV, if you're using that 3rd row, you're kind of hurting for space in the back here. So you don't have, like, I have my bags and stuff back here, and it barely fits. I don't have room for anything else. But I will show you. Actually, you know what? Let me pull down the 2nd row. I mean the 3rd row. So I'll pull this down. And yes, when you do that, you definitely get a lot more space. But now you no longer have a 3-row SUV. You know what I mean? Now you're back to 2. But with Mazda, you do have a little bit of space here. And then, let's see, man, this is what I don't like about Mazda's design, is that you got to go through a lot to get to the spare tire. Let me see. Okay, here we go. There's a spare tire underneath there. So yes, the good thing is you get a spare tire with both. But like I said, to get all this space in a Mazda, you got to go through a lot more. You got to go through a lot more. You know, to get this type of space, you're losing your 3rd row. So which brings me back to what I was saying. You might be better off just going with a 2nd row SUV. And so here's the thing for all you guys who are like, oh, they're not apples to apples. Okay, listen, you can get the Pilot, and that would be a 3rd row SUV, or you can get the CX-90, right? So the CX-90 is a 2-row SUV. So you know, they're pretty much the same. But what I want you guys to see is the design language and how different the design language is. Because when you look here, look at all this storage space. That's what I love. Look at that. That's what I love about Honda. You get a ton of storage space there, and it's easier to just pop this up. Storage space, spare tire, more storage space. You know what I mean? It's a lot happening here. And don't get me wrong, I don't hate our Mazda, but I do see the difference in design where it's more beneficial in the Honda for cargo space and things of that nature. Now, another thing, these things are very close in price. So I think ours is about $47,000. This one is total vehicle price $47,165, and yeah, it's about spot on. Now, they both have V6s, but I believe that the Honda is a lot more reliable because it is a naturally aspirated V6, whereas ours is a turbo inline 6. So I don't think it's going to be long term. It's not going to be as reliable as the Honda. And this is just me being 100% honest with you guys. Like I said, I love Mazda. I love a lot of things about Mazda, but just keeping it real, a turbo inline 6, maybe the inline 6 would be robust and stuff, but the fact that it comes with a turbo, makes it automatically not as reliable as this naturally aspirated V6 that you get here in the Honda Passport. So that's something to be aware of. Now, I'll write in right here what the horsepower is on the Honda Passport, and then I'll also write in what the horsepower is on the Mazda CX-90 so you guys can see. And I'll also tell you guys verbally. And so verbally, our 2025 Mazda CX-90 preferred trim has 280 horsepower and 332 foot-pounds of torque. And that's pretty good. I mean, there is another trim up where you can get 323 horsepower. But then on this naturally aspirated V6, 3.5 liter V6 engine on the Honda Passport produces 285 horsepower and 262 foot-pounds of torque. So it's more horsepower than our turbo inline six, but less torque. But that is amazing to me that they were able to squeeze out 5 more horsepower on this naturally aspirated V6 compared to our turbo inline six. So that's saying a lot already for the Passport. I think the Passport is winning because it's a more reliable, naturally aspirated V6, and you can see very easy to work on. Like, it just looks like there's a ton of room for activities here, and very simple. With our turbo inline six, it's a nice looking engine. Don't get me wrong, it's a nice looking engine, you know, but a lot more complicated to work on in my opinion. So that's something to be aware of, right? But one good thing I say you get in both vehicles, they both got hood struts. So shout out to Honda, and oh yeah, look at this one right there. Shout out to Honda and shout out to Mazda for giving us hood struts. But they look nice underneath the hood. And I love the fact that these aren't 4 cylinders or anything. They're both 6s. This is a straight 6, that's a V6. But yeah, now let's get into utility and stuff like that. So I would say the more utility type vehicle is going to be the Honda Passport. The more luxurious vehicle is going to be the Mazda CX-90. And safety and all of that, they're both well done. You got safety sensors here, 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 there on the CX-90. And then with the Honda, you got safety sensors there, there. So you got safety all the way around. And one thing I see here, let me see, I think this is functional, is it? No, it's just a design thing. The functional one is actually down here, is underneath there. But we both got roof racks, but our roof rack doesn't really look that usable, to be honest. This is a usable roof rack right here. Oh yeah, nice and metal too. So another thing that I'm noticing, let me see what the gas tank is like on here. You push and it seals like that. So I like that. Instant seal. And you push down. And I wonder if it's like that when you lock it. Let me see. So lock it. Let me see if it is still. So when you lock it, it doesn't open. So that's pretty cool. Shout out to you, Honda. That's actually pretty cool. And we both got like the same black cladding on the side here, black cladding on the side there. The wheel setup is very different, it looks like, though. So these are, what are these? 265/60 R18s. So these are 265/60 R18s on the Honda Passport. And then I know these are 260s as well on the Mazda. But let me see. Yeah, so 265s, 55s, R19s. So they're 19s, 265, 55 R19s on the Mazda CX-90. And then we got 18s on the Honda Passport. So smaller tire, which would probably be better once you're ready. You got to replace your tires. So that's another thing there. Now on this trim, look like they have a cutout for a fog light, but probably not on this trim level. There's not even an option for that on the Mazda, but it's cool because it's more of like a luxury type vehicle. And I don't know, you guys comment below and let me know which one looks better to you. So this is Mazda, we'll walk around it. And so I did confirm that this can fit in our garage, and it looks to be a little bit longer than the Passport. So I would venture to say the Passport should fit inside of your garage pretty easily as well, because if our CX-90 can fit, then the Passport can fit. Now let's take a look around the Passport, and you guys tell me what you think. So they both got windshield wipers on the rear. Windshield wiper on the rear. You got Passport stamped into the back there. On Mazda, it just says the CX-90 all-wheel drive right there. E Skyactiv G. Then you got the Mazda logo here. You got the Honda logo. And to remind you again where we're at, Southeastern Honda. All right. So, oh wow, I didn't realize this. So they got a camera. It looks like they got a camera up there as well as down here. So I gotta take a look at that again when we reverse. Also, you got sensors here, 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 here. I mean, we got sensors everywhere on this joint. And I already went through the trunk space and stuff. Now let's look at the second row. Oh yeah, gotta open it back up. So to open up, you just put your hand there, opens up immediately. Good thing I like about this, you have automatic up and down for the front and the rear. Plus you got memory seating on this trim. So we don't have memory seating on our preferred trim for the CX-90. Another thing to be aware of. Now let's look at the second row. Now I like how it says Passport when you get in. That's a nice little touch. And same thing, very, very utilitarian. Like, you got a lot of space here. Pocket cubby right there. You got for your car seats right there. And oh wow, and they have it all the way around. So they got 1, 2 there, 1, 2 there. So it's really set up to hold 3 car seats. Like, very, very nice. You got 2 USB-C ports there. You got your AC vents in the back. And do these seats recline or something? I think, let me see. Okay, so no, I think, yeah, so they stop there. That's as far as it goes. But with me having the seat all the way back, let me see if I can fit in there. We're gonna test this out in real time. All right, let's see. I know you guys like to see because I'm 6'6". Let's see if I can fit in here. This will give you a very good understanding. Okay, so yes, I can sit behind myself in the Honda Passport, and it is comfortable. Like, I got a lot of leg room and stuff. Like, yeah, this is actually pretty cool. I like this. You got the tweeter right there, and just to show you, see, I can literally sit behind myself comfortably. So that's not bad at all. That is not bad at all. Let me try the same thing in the CX-90, and let's see how this goes. Now, the one thing I do know with the CX-90, the seats does recline. So, yes. So same thing, automatic up and down for all 4 windows, but we do not have memory seating. But we do, it's a nice interior, and I'll show off the interior a little bit more on both in a little bit. But yeah, let me go put the third row seats back up. Make this more of a, make it a little bit more of a fair comparison, because that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video, is to show you guys that you don't really need a third row SUV, and why you might opt to go for something like a Honda Passport over a CX-90, or why you might opt to go for a CX-70 over a CX-90, just to get, the 2 row instead of a third row, because like I said, the main thing is we're losing out on a lot of cargo space in the back here. And then I also wanted to show the difference in design language between Honda and Mazda. See, like I said, Mazda is a lot more luxury oriented, and I think Honda is a lot more like rugged, utilitarian, and off-road worthy, in my opinion. So yeah, so I can push recline the second row on a Mazda. Let's see if I can sit behind myself. Oof. Okay. Yeah, I can't even get, and I have the seat, the second row recline all the way back. I cannot sit behind myself here. So I can't sit behind myself in the CX-90. That's a problem, you know? Now let me see if I can do it on the passenger side where the seat is not pushed back as much. And let me slide this back a bit. All right, let's see. Yeah, I should be able to fit in here, no problem. Well, let me just demonstrate to you guys. Yes. So if I'm not sitting behind myself, I'm good in the CX-90. All right, and I'm sure it'd be so this will probably be the same for a CX-70. Should be able to sit behind myself like a little bit better in that one. Back to my argument. You might be better off going with a second row versus a third row, you know? Because like I said, the third row, in my opinion, a lot of times that third row is not very usable unless you use it like how we use it to put in car seats for your kids. And that's really about it, you know? So if you got like a bunch of kids, then that might be the way to go. Or you might be better off going with something like a Honda Odyssey or something like that. Might as well just go get you a van. Now, let's get into how these things are driving them. All right, so let's take out the Passport first. Oh wow, that is so dope. I didn't even catch that. That is so cool, man. That is so cool. So let's start it up. Man, I was not expecting that. So you got a fully digital display in here versus like we don't have the same digital display in the CX-90. Let me see if I can set this. All right. And so just looking at the interior, somehow it feels a lot more spacious and roomy inside here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it feels a lot more spacious and roomy. Let's change this to MOC spec. All right, so you got the dual climate zone. And mind you, this is the RTL trim, right? So let's cancel this. RTL trim gets you the built-in Google Maps. You got Apple CarPlay. I'm guessing, I don't see Android Auto, but I'm sure it's probably in there. In the home, let's see. You got Google Assistant, Google Maps, Apple CarPlay, Play Store. Wow, you got the Play Store in here. You got vehicle settings, trip computer, USB. Man, actually, I'm not really seeing anything for Android Auto. Huh. But you do have Wi-Fi hotspot, Honda Link. You got the compass. Let me see what that, okay, yeah. So it gives you an actual compass. That's actually pretty cool. Let's hit back. Let's go back. Vehicle settings. Yeah, you got a bunch of different things you could do in here. This is awesome. I'm not going to do a full in-depth review on it, but I think it is pretty awesome. So let's go back to Google Maps. I'm guessing you don't really need Android Auto like that, or, you know, because you got Google integrated into the vehicle already. But yeah, I love this tried and true Honda digital cluster that they have here. Pretty awesome. You got your steering wheel controls right there. And this has the self-driving technology, so that's pretty awesome. We don't get that on the CX-90. You do have wireless charging right there. You got two cup holders here and a massive center. Wow, look at that. Yeah, this is center storage. It is huge in here. Pause. And then you got more storage here. So you're definitely getting more utility, more storage in the Passport versus the CX-90 or even probably the CX-70. You got two little cup holders there, cup holders down there. Nice little touch. So it's not as luxurious, but it definitely feels a little bit more manly, masculine, and off-roadish. So in this particular trim, we do not have a sunroof, but I'm sure you can opt these with a sunroof. Let's see what we're getting here. Okay, we got incandescent light. You got your SOS button. Let me see here. Okay, you got LED there. LED there. Sunglasses holder. All right, nice setup, nice setup. So well, actually first, let me put on my seatbelt. Got it. It's hard doing it with one hand. But yeah, let me put on the seatbelt first. All right. And to put this thing in the drive, you just hit the D button, the DS button there. So you hit that, and that puts you in the drive. And that might take some getting used to for most people, but you'll get used to it pretty quickly. So the turning radius feels pretty similar, I would say, to the CX-90. Now to put it in reverse, you just hit that button there, and you reverse. And there's a backup camera with all the sensors and everything there, so that's actually pretty cool. Put it back into drive. And also too, one thing I noticed with this, so put it back into reverse. The side mirrors, they go up and down like as you change like directions. If you put it in reverse or you put it into going forward, it actually changes direction. So let's see if we can make this turn out of here. And yes, we should be good to go. All right, so we're just gonna take this for a quick spin and see how it drives compared to our CX-90. So I'm just gonna make this turn right here. So just getting on it right there, it definitely feels a lot more peppy than what I would expect for a naturally aspirated V6. Like there's some lag when we do the same thing in our CX-90. So yeah, so just cruising along. Let me adjust these mirrors a little bit more. All right. Very smooth, and you feel a little bit up high. You feel absolutely in control of the road here. So the gear changes is very smooth. So one thing, yeah, I will share with you guys, the gear changes are a lot smoother on this Honda Passport than it is in our CX-90. Like they made a difference from 24 to 25 in the CX-90, but the gear shifts, it's still kind of herky-jerky. It's not as smooth as it is in the Passport. So that's one thing that I gotta be honest with you guys. And sorry to all my Mazda people, but it's the truth. Like I gotta keep it real with you guys. So a lot of things I'm really enjoying about the Passport over the CX-90 is that you feel up high, like you're in control of the road. It's a lot roomier on the inside here, and there's slightly more leg room in the second row compared to the CX-90. Now, I'm sure, like I said, if it was a CX-70, it would probably get a little bit better leg room in the second row. But like I said, you could kind of mix and match these vehicles between the CX-70 and the Honda Pilot, you know, and the CX-90 and the Passport. So you can mix and match them however you like. But as I said, my argument is that you probably don't need a third row SUV. You could probably make things work, especially since if you got kids. I showed you with this one, it shows that it has room for 3 car seats in the second row. So, okay, this seems to have a start stop too, but I'm gonna punch it on here and see what this feels like. Oh, wow. Wow, okay. Oh man, I was not expecting it to get up and go as quickly as it just did. Wow. All right, let's do a turn here. Turning radius is amazing. Man, that was quick. Let me see, punch it again. Dude, this thing is quick. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh yeah, it definitely has every bit of that 285 horsepower. Man, I'm surprised at how fast that was. I was not expecting it to be that quick. God. Hey, if my wife is watching this, we might have to get us a Honda Passport. This thing is fun. And just knowing that it's naturally aspirated and it's going to have that Honda reliability just makes it that much more appealing to me. I can't believe it's that quick. And then when you're just driving normal, it's just cruising. It's just cruising, and man. Oh, that was fun. I want one of these. I want one of these bad. Oh man. Hey, sorry Mazda. Like I said, I'm a Mazda guy. I love Mazda, but I'm just being honest. Nah, that is a good looking SUV though. Let's be real. Mazda. So okay. So this is what I'm getting so far. If you like luxury and a certain aesthetic look, I think Mazda is a great way to go. But if you're a little bit more off-roadish and rugged and you need that utility, I think Honda Passport for the win. But man, that was fun. That was so much. I gotta go do the same thing. I gotta be fair to Mazda. I gotta go do the same thing with the Mazda and see how that feels, because I was not expecting this naturally aspirated V6 to be that quick and so much fun to get up off the line. Like that was amazing. Yeah, so let me go do the same thing in the Mazda and let's see how this goes. So setting off in our 2025 Mazda CX-90. All right, first thing you'll see, we don't have the same digital display. It's a mix between like digital and analog here on the CX-90 versus the Passport. Now, let me put on my seatbelt. And so the thing that I do like about the CX-90 over the Passport is we got like a physical gear lever. All right, so let's get this thing going. And whereas I feel like the Passport, and there's our rear view, that's what it looks like here in the CX-90. I think the backup camera is a little bit clearer on the Mazda versus the Passport, but our side view mirrors do not tilt up or tilt down to give you a better view. So let me check that and make sure and see. Let me put it into drive. Yeah, so it stays the same. Maybe there's a way to adjust it to where it could, but yeah, we got our built-in navigation right there. And yeah, let's set off and see what this is like. So automatically it doesn't feel as smooth as the Passport, and it doesn't feel as eager, just driving normally like this. But the steering wheel feel is a lot more, where you feel a lot more connected to the vehicle in the Mazda through the steering wheel. The steering wheel, you feel a lot more connected. Now let's go ahead and test out the turning radius. And I'll open up our sunroof there because we got it. Let's see what the turning radius is like on here. I'll wait for that Corolla, I think, that's driving in to go past first. All right, so here we go. Turning radius. Oh wow, I think the turning radius might be slightly better on the Mazda. Now let's go ahead and punch it in the Mazda and see what this feels like. Okay, so wow. So there's definitely a delay, but once that turbo hits, this thing picks up and goes. So it's not as dramatic as the Pilot, but man, both of these are fun to drive. Like once you once that turbo hits, man, this thing boogies. So we're gonna get up to this yeah, and I would say the steering feel is slightly better in the Mazda. The steering feel is a little bit better. All right, now let me turn this iStop thing off. So I'm gonna wait to see what it feels like when you punch it from like a dead stop, so you guys can get like a real apples to apples comparison between our 2025 Mazda CX-90 and the 2026 Honda Passport. So let's wait for this light to change and I'll give it to you guys straight. Like, I'm trying my best to be as unbiased and as honest as I can, and you guys could judge my reaction in both vehicles and you decide which one feels like the most fun just by you watching, All right, so light changes and let's punch it. Okay, so yeah, there's definitely a delay on the, so I would say the the Passport literally just jumps out and goes. There's just something about it, but let me check but the steering is slightly better. Let's whip this turn right here. And yeah. And then, so yeah, it's a little bit of a herky jerk right there. But once the turbo hits, like it moves. Like it moves, right? But yeah. So I would say steering wheel feel is better on the Mazda. Like transmission smoothness and instant torque and horsepower, like that instant throttle feel is better on the Honda Passport. But let's get back and let's wrap up this video. All right, so test drive complete on both vehicles. They're both fun. They're both all-wheel drive. So this Honda Passport, no wonder it got up and shot off the way it did. It's an all-wheel drive vehicle. So is the Mazda. But I don't know, man. It's just with the turbo inline six, you expect it to kind of move the way it did. I did not expect this Passport to move the way that it did, it being a naturally aspirated vehicle. That really took me by surprise. So it is very up in the air for me between both. But me as a man, I'll be honest with you, if I had to choose one of these, I'm getting the Passport. And I know that's probably shocking to a lot of you guys because we do own the Mazda CX-90, and I've been Team Mazda for so long. But as you guys have seen recently, I'm finally getting into like the whole Honda gang. I'm starting to like drive some of these vehicles, and they're impressing me more and more and more. So I feel like I'm slowly graduating from like a Mazda guy into a Honda guy. But I think in a perfect world I would have them both, because there's like a luxury aesthetic and a luxury feel to the Mazda that you don't get in many other vehicles, especially at the price point. So I want you guys to comment below. If you have about $47,000 to spend, which one are you going with? Are you going with the Mazda CX-90 or CX-70? Or are you going with the Honda Passport or the Honda Pilot? They're both all-wheel drive. They both got 6 cylinders. They're both Japanese. They're both, pretty reliable. And it just comes down to which design language do you like better and what means more to you. Do you need more luxury and kind of that luxurious feel versus, and sporty too. So it's luxury and sporty versus rugged, utility, and just tried and true Honda ingenuity. I have to call it Honda ingenuity because of how they do all their storage and stuff like that. The utility of the vehicle and the practicality of it, to me, is on a different level compared to its competitors. But yeah, man, that's it for this one. I hope you guys enjoy this one. And with that, Race Car Friends out. So this is the SUV that a lot of people compare the